Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hi, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. Today, we're going to discuss the Marriage Settlement Agreement, or MSA. It's really the document that plays a pivotal role in finalizing your divorce. So imagine the MSA as a roadmap. It outlines all the critical decisions you and your spouse have made about dividing assets, debts, and other important matters. So we're going to break this down and dive into what exactly is in the MSA. And we're going to start with, it's a legally binding contract that really details how you resolve all financial and logistical issues arising from your divorce. And it covers a wide range of things. Division of assets and debts. This is probably a major component. The agreement really will outline how you'll split marital property, whether it's cars, houses, retirement accounts, investments, and how you handle existing debts. And then you got spousal maintenance. If it's applicable, the marriage settlement agreement will specify the amount and duration of spousal support payments. We got child custody and support in there as well. While child custody and support are often addressed in a separate parenting plan, the MSA can reference it or incorporate it by reference. And then there's other considerations. The agreement can also address other aspects like pet ownership, division of personal belongings, or even life insurance beneficiary designations. There are several advantages to having a well-drafted MSA, and one, it can reduce conflict. Reaching an agreement outside of court minimizes arguments and emotional turmoil. Control over the outcome. You and your spouse really do have more control over the terms of your divorce rather than leaving the decision to a judge. Reduce costs. A marriage settlement agreement can be less expensive than a lengthy court battle. And then finality. A finalized MSA provides closure and allows you to both move forward with certainty. Now, crafting the MSA often involves negotiation, which can be facilitated by your divorce attorneys. It's pretty important to be open and honest about your financial situation and needs. Sometimes a mediator can also be helpful in guiding discussions towards a fair solution. And then we can't forget that legal review is essential. Before signing the MSA, it's really important to have your lawyer thoroughly review the document. They can ensure it protects your rights, is legally sound, and accurately reflects the agreements you've reached. Now, what happens if you can't agree? Well, unfortunately, not all couples can reach an agreement. I know, shocking, right? If negotiations stall, the court will make decisions regarding property division, spousal maintenance, and child custody based on state laws. This can be a lengthy and unpredictable process, though. A well-crafted marriage settlement agreement allows you and your spouse to navigate, the divorce process with more control and potentially less emotional strife. I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, please leave a comment or reach out to me. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. Today, we're going to tackle a critical but often daunting aspect of divorce, and that's handling debt. Dividing assets gets a lot of attention, but debts are really equally important to consider. So let's break it down. We're going to look at starting with separate versus marital debt. And the way debt is handled during divorce hinges on actually when it occurred. There are two main categories, and one being separate debt. And this refers to debt acquired by one spouse before the marriage or after separation. It generally remains the responsibility of the spouse who took on the debt. And then you have marital debt. This debt is accumulated during the marriage for the benefit of the household, like mortgages, car loans, or credit card debt. And this debt is typically considered joint and is subject to division during the divorce. So you're going to want to determine like what's what. Figuring out which debts fall under each category can involve reviewing account statements, credit reports, and even loan origination documents. Sometimes tracing funds used for specific purposes may be necessary. Now, we've got fairness over equality when dividing marital debt. And we're not talking a 50-50 split necessarily all the time. The goal is fair and equitable, and there are several factors that can influence this. One being total income and assets. The spouse with a higher earning potential might take on a larger share of the debt. There's debt type. Secured debts like mortgages might be tied to specific assets awarded in the settlement. And then there's future earnings potential. If one spouse has a significantly lower earning capacity, the debt allocation might be adjusted to reflect that. Now, often when we get into handling debt, we're looking at negotiation between spouses, and their lawyers really is key to determining a fair division of marital assets, and in this case, marital debts. This might involve selling assets to pay down debt before finalizing the settlement. Now, debt division can also impact your credit score. Remaining responsible for joint debt, even if your ex-spouse is supposed to contribute, can really negatively affect your credit. It's important to monitor your credit report and address any discrepancies you find. Now, the complexities of divorce and debt can be overwhelming for some. Consulting with an experienced divorce attorney really could be helpful. They can help you understand your rights, navigate the legalities of debt division, and advocate for a fair settlement during negotiations. In addition, someone like a financial advisor might also be of good value to your divorce team when it comes to figuring out how to divide up the debt and the assets as well. So, debt division really can be a thorny issue during divorce. And by understanding the different types of debt, prioritizing fairness, and seeking professional guidance, you can approach this aspect of process with more clarity and confidence. Remember, open communication with your soon-to-be ex-spouse and your lawyer is, key to reaching a workable solution. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions or on this or financial issues, leave a comment or contact me using the information I have in the podcast. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hi, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. Today, we're going to tackle a major concern for many parents, and that is how divorce impacts college planning for their kids. College is a significant financial hurdle, and divorce adds another layer of complexity. So let's explore, those key considerations. We're going to start with the financial impact that a divorce has on the family. Now, divorces often lead to a decrease in household income. Child support payments might help, but they might not fully cover college expenses. It's essential to have a realistic understanding of your financial situation after the divorce to assess how much can you contribute towards college. While child support typically ends when a child reaches adulthood, age 18 or 19, depending on your state, some states allow courts to order parents to contribute to college costs. This can be addressed in the divorce settlement agreement. The agreement might specify a fixed amount per year, or a percentage of college costs, or a requirement for both parents to share the burden. Clearly outlined expectations help avoid future conflict. If you have, let's say, existing college savings plans like a 529 account for your child, it's important to determine ownership and beneficiary designations in the settlement agreement. Will the funds remain untouched, or will they be used towards future college expenses? And as with all things, communication is key. We want to have that open communication with your child throughout the divorce. Discuss their college aspirations and potential financial limitations due to the divorce. Encourage them to explore scholarships, grants, work study options to minimize reliance solely on parental contributions. And you're going to want to support your child through uncertainty. I mean, divorce, as we know, is stressful for children, and college planning anxieties might really add to that burden. Reassure them that you'll both be involved in supporting their educational goals, even though you're no longer together. Maintain a united front when it comes to college discussions. And then there's always seeking professional guidance. A qualified divorce attorney can help navigate the legal intricacies of incorporating college costs into the settlement agreement. They can also advise on the tax implications of college savings plans and financial aid options. A financial advisor can help tailor a college savings plan that considers your post-divorce financial situation. So divorce doesn't have to derail your child's college dreams. Open communication, financial planning, and seeking professional guidance can help ensure your child has the resources and support they need to pursue higher education. Remember, collaboration and transparency during divorce are critical for navigating college planning as a separated family. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, please feel free to drop a comment or reach out to me. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today I'm going to be your host on this version of Mike Unscripted. So I don't have any outlines. I don't have the script done for containing all details that I don't want to miss. It's more or less me taking a topic and just sharing some thoughts on it kind of thing. And today's topic I thought was pretty interesting. And I'm not sure how much time people actually put into it, but it's the back and forth of negotiations when you're getting a divorce. You're going through the process and you got a lot of things with your soon to be ex that you have to settle on, whether it's property division, it's child custody arrangements, it's spousal maintenance, it's whatever it is that you have, debts or retirements or long-term futures. So there's going to be a ton of things you're going to look at through the divorce process, and your divorce attorney is going to help with this, from a legal standpoint. But at the same token, they're also going to kind of be your mouthpiece back and forth. So you want to be clear with what you're trying to negotiate, and you want to make sure that it's fair, basically not exactly equal. I've got podcasts on that talking about that, kind of situation. But really, you got to be clear, because the more often and more times you go back, the more times it's going to cost you more money with your attorney, because it takes their time and they're going to be part of your billable hours. So when you look at back and forth negotiations, take a good hard look. You don't want to waste time and waste money. And so make sure you put some thought into the negotiation portion of it. What do you want to get out of it? What do you think is fair? And then submit that. But in the end, both you and your soon-to-be ex-spouses, you're going to have to compromise. You got to give on things. And it shouldn't just be necessarily a one-way give. I mean, you shouldn't have to give everything, or they shouldn't have to give everything. So you definitely need to make sure that you have the give and take, the fairness that comes with getting things settled in negotiations. And you have a lot of say in this. So if you don't like how your attorney's presenting it, let them know. Hey, that's not the way to approach this. This is how I want to approach this. This is how I want it. Here's what I want it to say. And you should see the document before it is sent across to your spouse's attorney. And that will allow you then to make sure your input is being heard, and also make sure that, hey, well, wait, I'd like to tweak that, or I'd like to tweak this. I've given it a little more thought, kind of thing. So you know what you want, and I think it's important that you feel like you can actually do that. If you have an attorney who's not going to let you, I might suggest looking for another attorney because they're part of your team. And while they know a lot about the legal process, it's not always what you're after. It's not what they're after, it's what you're after. And so make sure that whoever you choose, you're comfortable and confident that your message is going to get across in the right way. But in the end, if you want it to be done quicker, you're going to have to negotiate better or have a better starting point on your negotiations. If you want it to take longer, it's very easy to drag it out, but it's really not worth it in the end because you're going to get to the same spot. It's only going to cost you time and money additionally for that, getting it to the same spot. All right, well, that's going to wrap up today's episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I hope you enjoyed the Mike Unscripted. If you have any, questions or anything, leave them as a comment or drop me a line, email, whatever. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, have yourself a good day.
Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst Professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hi, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to look at an often murky world of discovery. It's critical, but sometimes confusing stage of the divorce process. So what exactly is discovery and why is it important? Discovery is essentially a fact-finding mission. Imagine it is like shining a light on your financial picture of your marriage. Both parties, with the help of their attorneys, exchange information and documents to gain a complete understanding of your shared assets, debts, and income streams. This information is key to negotiating a fair settlement on issues like property division, spousal maintenance if applicable, and even child support if kids are involved. Now, what kind of information is exchanged? The discovery process really involves a variety of documents, things from tax returns from the past few years to bank statements and investment accounts, pay stubs, W-2s, retirement account statements and valuations, property deeds and appraisals, loan documents, credit card statements, or other debts. And there are several tools lawyers use to gather this information. You got things like interrogatories, and these are written questions exchanged between spouses requiring detailed and truthful answers under oath. There's request for the production of documents. And this is a formal request for specific documents your spouse may have that hasn't been turned over. And then there's depositions, and these are formal interviews under oath with lawyers present to gather additional information or clarify details. So discovery really is all about transparency. Both spouses have a legal obligation to disclose all relevant financial information. And this ensures fairness and avoids things like surprises later on in the process. But it's not just about the finances. The focus is often financial. Discovery can also be used to gather information relevant to child custody arrangements, such as school records, daycare expenses, or healthcare documents. Now, the discovery process really can be complex and it's very time consuming. So working with an experienced divorce attorney might be very beneficial to you. They can guide you through the process, ensure you understand your rights and obligations, and ensure all relevant information is disclosed to reach a fair settlement. Is discovery always necessary? Well, in some uncontested divorces with minimal assets, discovery might be limited or even waived. However, in most cases, it's a vital step towards resolving financial issues and moving forward with your life. Discovery may not be the most glamorous part of divorce, but it is a necessary step towards a fair and equitable settlement. By being open and transparent throughout the process, you and your spouse can reach an agreement that allows both of you to move forward with confidence. Remember, knowledge is power, And discovery empowers you to make informed decisions about your future. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, leave a comment. Give me a call. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, have a good day.